Hi guys, and welcome to your weekly horoscope for Monday the 15th of June going through until Sunday the 21st of June 2020. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to go through each day of the week. We've got an eclipse coming up this week. That's super exciting. What I do, these readings are for everybody. They're for all signs of the zodiac. They're for everyone who watches. And what I do is I look at the transits, how the planets interact with each other, and how that's going to affect you this week. And I go through each day. And these readings are for each and every sign of the zodiac. So whether you're an Aries or a Taurus or a Gemini or a Sagittarius, doesn't matter. This is the astrological energy that's going to affect all of us. So starting with Monday the 15th, we've got the moon in Aries. So the moon, have a look at your birth chart. You'll notice that the three most important things. You'll have the sun in a certain sign. That's your identity, what gives you life. Then you've got the rising sign, your default setting. That's how I see it. Kabbalistic astrology, they look at it differently. Different astrologers look at it differently. So read about the ascendant if you're interested. And then the moon is usually the most sensitive part of who you are. What gives you a sense of, oh, I'm at home, I can breathe, hooray. When the moon is in Aries, you'll have the sense that, hey, I'm actually interested in something. I care about this. Doesn't matter what other people say. I'm going to move forward on this. I'm going to do something about it. And I'm excited. Hooray, I can do it independently. It's something that I want to take the lead on. I don't want to constantly explain myself and be accountable by breaking everything down. I just want to move forward. And the moon is in Aries on Monday, so you'll feel a great sense of independence. It forms a square with Pluto and Jupiter in Capricorn. So Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth. Think of it as Kali in Hindu mythology. And Jupiter is Zeus in Greek mythology. He's the king of the gods. Good luck. Pluto is about transformation, and they're in the sign of the goat, Capricorn. And they say that if you work hard, you can transform anything you want, and the world is your oyster. You can have as much luck and be showered with as much abundance as you can possibly imagine. So there's friction between them, because the Aries moon is saying, hooray, I'm enjoying my independence. And Pluto and Jupiter are saying, hey, well, if you want to change your life, you're going to have to work. The moon also sextiles the sun in Gemini. Sun is what your identity is all about, what you're focused on. Gemini is a doorway. If you look at it, it's a Roman numeral 2, and you open the door to another chapter in your life, to another way of being, to another way of feeling. So there's this air and fire, masculine energy. There's this great sense of motion. Let's get things going. Let's move forward. So altogether, this recipe here on Monday the 15th, you have this amazing energy and you have a huge desire to start something new, whatever area of your life, but particularly you're going to be drawn to the daily routine of your life, your work, your finances and your income, and where that leaves you, what your actual life looks like. So if you're an ER doctor, you work whatever 100-hour weeks if that's possible, and you make money but you don't have time to enjoy your husband, your children, or you're studying it and it's just constant, and there's no personal life, so there's no balance. You may want to make changes. So if you're in that situation, for instance, with the ER doctor, of course, you try and find a little bit more balance. You'd like to do your work in a way that doesn't leave you feeling completely exhausted and you actually enjoy what you're doing, and you can enjoy the fruits of your labor. However, we've got an Aries moon, so the ram, and we've got the door wide open. Seems a bit iffy to me. You know, if something seems too good to be true, it kind of is, and it seems that way to me. The planet keeping a really low profile this week, I noticed, is Venus. Venus is currently in retrograde, and she's just like, Venus in retrograde, the love planet, Aphrodite, she causes a lot of, stirs the pots, a lot of drama, upset when she's in retrograde with other people, and she gives you an amazing opportunity to heal yourself. The retrogrades are like looking inward. Wow, yeah, that really resonates, that really moves me. So that Venus energy, it doesn't want to be seen. That's why it's keeping its low profile. So if you're totally convinced about doing something amazing in the real world and you are going full steam ahead, no questions, everyone else shut up, I'm on a mission, and you're not self-aware, hey, hang on, how am I actually working with people? What does this look like in the long term? If you're not self-aware, really take a step back, take a moment and say, okay, I do want to move forward with this. I do want to achieve something here on Monday, but I'm self-aware here. I'm not going to move forward at any cost. If it doesn't serve me long term, I'm going to take a step back and look at it and do it later. So make informed decisions on Monday. The good thing is that you have spare energy and you want to do stuff and you are encouraged, so that's fab. But it's about channeling the energy properly. Tuesday, the 16th of June, Moon goes into Taurus at 9:37 in the morning. The Moon in Taurus gives you a greater sense of, I can relax, comfort. Again, it's the bull, so it's not particularly flexible. I want what I want when I want it. But Taurus is ruled by Venus, the planet of love, and Taurus is about hugs and money and comfort and the world being a lovely, juicy, abundant, joyous place. And you can just roll down the hill in the grass. I don't know why that came to mind. The ultimate joy, lying on the ground in the grass and rolling down the hill. Ultimate joy. Okay. So something physical, I suppose. Yes, that's what the Moon in Taurus is saying. Joy, you can find joy by doing something physical. Exercise, swimming, going for a walk with someone. The Moon then conjunct, so it sits on top of Uranus in Taurus. Uranus is the planet of the unexpected, and it squares Saturn in Gemini. Saturn, no, not Saturn in Gemini. Let me just check. Saturn is in, it will be in Aquarius in June on the 21st when the eclipse happens. That wouldn't, it wouldn't be in Gemini. Yeah, so I'm thinking of the Sun here, that's in Gemini. The planet Saturn, which is structure and security, that is in Aquarius. Okay, and I'll speak about that when I talk about the eclipse. That does happen on the 21st. So, with that, friction between the Moon and Saturn saying, okay, put down your roots this way. And Uranus, the unexpected in Taurus, there may be some sort of unexpected appearance. Another person coming in or some sort of challenge that you have to deal with and that you have to overcome. So when it comes to certain topics on Tuesday, you're going to feel really stubborn because you know, you see, you understand, no one else does. You can see how extreme that is in itself and how it could create problems. So Taurus is famous for this, but it does not like change. So on Tuesday, you're not going to welcome change with open arms and say, hooray, everything is different. I have to change everything around in my store. For instance, in the UK here on the 15th, a lot of the shops are opening up and all the stores have been edited so that we can social distance safely. And it's not going to be the most joyous experience on Monday, Tuesday, when people are coming to terms with it and haven't been out for 3 months and they're all kind of, am I stressed or am I enjoying myself? I don't quite know. So be flexible deliberately because you know you're somewhat resistant to change on Tuesday. So any chaos that happens, you may feel defensive towards that and like, oh, I don't want this. And you may feel anxiety to the point where you overreact. So on Tuesday, that's your red flag, or well, that's badly put because we've got a bull here. A bull to a red flag will charge, okay? So we don't want you charging and getting, seeing red and overreacting and being frustrated and angry. If you feel that coming on, you know, you start to feel when you're being wound up a little tight and you can feel the blood starting to boil around your ankles and it's slowly coming up. That's likely. So no reaction is better than some huge reaction, I think. You're not going to, for instance, if you're shopping and they have changed the lanes around and you have to now wait, you're not going to change it by losing it and throwing a fit. No, don't. Just consider the people who are there with you, everyone else around you. They're also going through the same changes and they're also uncertain. So it's that adding that self-awareness and not stomping into some shop saying, okay, I've been waiting for 3 months, I now want A, B, and C. Easy does it, okay? So Tuesday is really good for understanding how you react to change and how you can be more open to change, and that you're not always right, and that it's okay to say that. I'm not always right, I don't always get it right, and I'm willing to learn, and that's okay for everyone. Wednesday the 17th, we have got Mercury in Cancer going retrograde. Mercury is the communication planet that joins Venus in retrograde. Now, when something is retrograde, think of two cars on a motorway, okay? They're both going 70 in the same direction. Let's say, yes, they're going... Start again. We've got two cars on a motorway. One's going 80 miles an hour. One is going 60, okay? So the 80 miles an hour starts over here, and it drives, and it passes the car that's going 60. At some point, they're both going to be at the same space on the motorway, and it's going to look like they're both standing still. That's called the station, when the planet appears to start going backwards. And then the 80-mile car keeps driving, and the 60-mile car hasn't stopped, has it? It's still going 50 miles. School teacher mode here. But from the 80-mile-an-hour car, which keeps going forward, that car is going to appear to be going backwards, right? It's not going backwards, they're just going faster. So that's what that is. Venus and Mercury appear to be going backwards, and during that time the planet's energy goes inward. So with Venus going retrograde, it's not how we love externally on the outside, it's how we can go within and heal ourselves. Even my voice shakes just saying that. I don't know about you guys, but I am so struck with anxiety. I'm so glad that I actually get to make this video, because I'm not doing that well. I actually was going to talk to, I'll save that for later. Where was I? Yes. Okay, so just make sure that if you feel out of control, it's a chance for you to say, okay, how can I welcome change? How can I be more flexible? And how can I adapt? On Wednesday the 17th, I said Mercury was going into Cancer and it's retrograde. It's in retrograde until the 12th of July 2020. So the planet appears to be going backwards. Mercury in Cancer is about I think, therefore I feel, or I feel my way into my future. It's not the facts and figures, and I assess and analyze, and then I take action or communicate. It's I feel and I think with my feelings. When it goes retrograde, the feelings and the anxiety you've had, hallelujah, you are now able to look at that and look at the way you think. If you've been filled with self-hatred and it's hammered your face and you've been like, oh, I can't, I need to get away from my own thinking. With Mercury going retrograde now, that's actually really positive and a good opportunity for you to take care of yourself, to stop being mean to yourself, to stop hating on yourself, and to stop letting other people's voices echo in your head, especially negative voices. So with a Mercury in Cancer in retrograde, be really careful, because emotions are going to run high. And it stays there until the 12th of July. The moon is in Taurus, and it conjuncts Uranus in Taurus. So the way you feel, Taurus, still comfortable. I like the consistent. Sitting on top of Uranus, the unexpected, immediately at odds. I want to sit back and relax, and Uranus is saying chaos, 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 I have to deal with all of this. And Mercury in retrograde, okay, I've been telling myself all of these things, and now I'm looking at things differently, and I want to actually take care of yourself. So in a personal way, if you are someone who has been struggling with mental health issues, or with circumstances being quite restrictive, and you don't do well with that, that's really a positive move now that Mercury is going retrograde, because it gives you the chance to heal yourself and for the negative patterns to be put on hold and then to appear to go backwards. It's almost like, oh, I'm getting some space from my problems. So that's really good. So on Wednesday the 17th, there's no such thing as not personal today. Everything is personal. Oh, this salmon is a bit dry. Personal, I can't cook. Okay? So when it comes to your feelings, any type of discussion that has an impact on your security or your perceived security, that's family security, sexual security, financial security. Yeah, if you're lying in bed and your partner makes a comment on your appearance, oh, and you really feel insecure about that. Oh, does she still love me now that she's pointed that out, or am I supposed to do something about that? That kind of thing really, really hits home very strongly. You may feel that your strong reaction is right, and that what you're doing is right, and that everyone else is wrong, and that they're just out to hurt your feelings. So suddenly on Wednesday it could be they're all out to get me. And obviously that's wrong, because not everyone is out to get you. Most people are thinking about their own lives and how they can get along. They're not thinking about how they can go into your day-to-day and sabotage it. No. So it's really likely that you are going to be right when it comes to your needs, your desires, what it is you're doing. But just in case, consider the fact that you may be wrong. Because if you bulldoze into some sort of situation and say, how dare you say that about my salmon? It is super juicy and I am a great cook, and no, you will not leave me. And they're like, I didn't mention any of those things. Then you may think that you're right and justified in your reaction, but in a month or so, you're like, who cares about the salmon? The reason I made that dinner was to have a lovely evening with my partner, and then I flipped on the salmon. So Venus is in retrograde, remember? It's you're occupied with the self, it's inward. Now Mercury, the communication planet, is retrograde. There's much greater chance for miscommunication. So you're not perfect either. You could make a mistake, you could misspeak, and that's okay. And give other people the benefit of the doubt. And please, on Wednesday the 17th, don't take things so personally, because you're going to want to take everything really, really personal, and it's not about you. Everyone's doing the best they can. And in my experience, the best way to get out of this is to let go of control and to say, how can I serve? How can I serve other people? So you don't think about yourself and all of your neuroses and this and that and my toe hurt. You're talking and thinking and using your intellect and your spiritual gift to help someone else. So you're connecting to them and you're leaving your negative kind of situation behind. It works every time. Moving on to Thursday the 18th, the moon now moves into Gemini at 9:01 in the evening. Moon in Gemini is lovely. It's fun, it's upbeat, it's a masculine energy, it's air, so it's about your vibrations, the way you think, what excites you, what the next goal is, what the thing is that you're looking forward to, that you're working towards, that you're passionate about. We all need goals in life, and we all need things to strive towards. Remember that you're a magician. I'm being told now to tell you, Meditations by Wayne Dyer. It's an audio book, not supported or sponsored or anything. I'm just getting this. It's Meditations for Abundance, I think, and he goes ah and om. It's a tape for morning meditation, the ah sound, the sound of creation, and then the om, getting in touch with the self and spirit, om. And he does it, so he kind of models it so you can mimic it. So when you're in the car, that's when I used to do it. I go and that's the way you manifest your reality. Check that out if you're trying to manifest your business, your new channel, your new working opportunity. That's what the Gemini moon offers you. Mars is in Pisces. Mars is masculine energy. It's the red planet. And in Pisces, Mars is really at a loss. Mars is like, okay, I'm supposed to be marching along and doing stuff, and here I am rowing my boat. Mars feels like at a bit of a loss. And when Mars is at a bit of a loss, he gets frustrated. He sextiles Pluto in Capricorn, and Pluto is work to transform, work to change. So Mars in Pisces is going to say, Pluto, come on, let me do something. So there's a sense of reaching. And with Gemini, we've got doorways everywhere. So Are you going to go through some sort of a doorway, or are you going to look within? And whenever the choice comes up between those two things this week, I'd really like you to look at the within, because that's where the good stuff happens. The external, fine. I don't see these massive things that I have to warn you about. Here on Tuesday, let's see. Yeah, there may be some circumstances that make you feel like, I don't want change. So you are dealing with it, you are adapting, and you are looking at the external stuff, but the main treasure trove is inside with the retrograde planets. Okay, so inner work is really fab. And Thursday altogether is a wonderful day to get personal, in the sense that you take care of yourself. Okay, so not taking other people's comments personally, but talking to yourself and discovering things with that in yourself, and also not taking your own negative voice seriously. Because the ego is going to say, you can't do that, you'll never make it, stop breathing. The ego says you're a higher being, you manifest your reality, and there's always this battle going on within us. When the wars inside of us, unknown notation here, reference, I don't know who said this, but when the wars stop within our minds, that's when the wars are going to stop in the world. And that's totally true, because we manifest what's in the world. The reason we have all these silly rules in society is because of certain parts of society who are elevated, and their views and opinions are said, okay, those are the rules, and then the rest of us have to fall into line. It's another video as well. But do you see that kind of resentment of someone else making decisions for you? That's the kind of thing that doesn't sit well with you this week. It's like, hang on, I'm trying to make personal progress and you're talking about me there. No thanks. The main focus on Thursday is taking care of the self. If you have spoken to yourself badly, and you have been mean to yourself, or you are at odds with yourself, if the lockdown is getting to you, if you've put something out there and you've got a horrible response, or it's not turned out the way you wanted it to be, it's time to forgive yourself and to just say, do you know what, that's fine. Yeah, for instance, I just made a mistake. I said Tolkien, which is like a mistake I probably made because I'm German or whatever. I would have been so embarrassed about that before. I would have been like, oh, they're going to think that, they're going to wonder about my accent. It's going to be so weird. And it's just like, the older you get, the more you're able to let certain things go. And it's about letting those things go this week, particularly by looking within, being kind to yourself and saying, hey, if you need to behave like this in an unhealthy way that doesn't hurt anyone else, you're not ready to let it go, then okay, I forgive you, and I'm letting you go with love. And that's the only way to heal something anyway, because you can't criticize yourself better. You can't criticize yourself prettier, more intelligent, more successful. You can't do that. Forgive yourself. Friday the 19th, the Gemini moon now conjuncts Venus in Gemini, the planet of love in retrograde, also in Gemini, and the Gemini moon sextiles the wounded healer Chiron, who's in Aries. Chiron is one of the centaurs. He taught medicine to the other gods, and he then got shot with a poison arrow and had to sacrifice himself. And it's about transformation and taking something that's wounded inside of you and healing it. And this week, what we're talking about is intellectual wounds, negative self-talk. And with the Gemini moon here, you naturally feel the vibrations of that. That doesn't feel good. You know, for instance, you say something, or you're showering and an idea comes in, and it's just, you will never, and you can put a million things in there, you will never make it the way you think. As soon as that comes in, you can probably see your body go, deflate somehow. When you say something like, my life is joyous, effortless, easy, full of fun, and beautiful things come to me all the time. Just by saying that, you put a smile on your face and it feels better. And that's the kind of antenna you've got on Friday, because you'll be very sensitive to that kind of vibration. Venus in Gemini in retrograde. What is it that I love and what I don't love? And how do I internalize all of that? So Friday is an amazing day because you have access to the inner self. So I put down here that if you are in recovery and you're doing your step 4, which is taking a personal inventory of yourself, or if you're healing through and you're at a seminar, workshop, self-help, personal development, if you're with a spiritual teacher, or if you're even doing one of those ayahuasca ceremonies, which I've always found fascinating, but probably not for me. Those kind of things are all designed to gain greater understanding of the self. And why do we gain greater understanding of the self? Usually because something about the self is problematic and we want freedom from it. Otherwise we wouldn't work so hard. So it's about finding a way to feel free from the negative aspects of the self. If you do that kind of work on Friday, it's time for some personal insights and you will get a life-changing and huge healing message come through. So congrats to everyone who's scheduled something for Friday the 19th in terms of personal healing and development. Huge breakthroughs on that day. Even self-hatred in particular, if you have anything about you that you really dislike. And you know, I was doing a personal inventory yesterday and I put down some of my current fears. And there are things on there which are absolutely out of my control. And as soon as you recognize that, you're like, do you know what, if I work myself to the bone with this, or if I leave it altogether, there's absolutely nothing I can do. And that in itself is freedom, that kind of insight. So go, anyone doing self-development on Friday. If you're not, try meditation or try something that you haven't had time for. Also, I would avoid conflict or getting a group together and saying, hey, you know what, we didn't get on so well 2 weeks ago, I'd like to hash it out. No, it's not the time to hash things out. It's time to hash things out with yourself, not other people. It's really a time of look at your own side of the street before you look at anyone else's. Now, on Saturday, the 20th of June, we have the sun going into Cancer. Happy birthday, Cancers. You're going to have a wonderful kind of 30 days coming your way. With this being your birthday and the sun, the center of our solar system, being in your energy, it's going to fill you with this amazing light and you will feel totally in your own element. The moon is also in Cancer because we have an eclipse coming up on Sunday. Saturday and Sunday, the 20th and 21st of June here, we have this amazing eclipse, which is also a new moon in Cancer, which is when the moon is totally black. And that's why the sun and the moon are both in Cancer and they're so close. Again, the moon in Cancer is that sensitive part of you. The moon rules Cancer though, so the moon in itself loves being in that sign. And the moon in Cancer is incredibly intuitive and it's able to pick up psychic frequencies. If you work as a medium or if you are trying to be a medium or to connect with higher realms, you're really able to kind of flick through the vibrations this week with all this Gemini from Thursday, and now with the moon in Cancer. That's one of the most intuitive placements you can have. So any intuitives, mediums, psychic artists, wow, Saturday's your day. The moon in Cancer conjuncts the sun in Cancer. They sit together. So it's water, water, water. Any of the water signs, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, Saturday you will adore. You're really in your element, so to speak. The rest of us are being taught how to love ourselves and how to nurture ourselves and how to speak more kindly to ourselves. And that's something that we really need. I don't know where you are, but I have had to delete the BBC app, the BBC News app from my phone, because I opened it and it was, we can't do this, and fear and death. I want to be informed of what's going on in the world. But if I let the media frighten me to the extent that I am completely having a meltdown over all the anxiety, it's like opening up anxiety. It's like, and people will never be able to gather. Like, it's all of these assumptions and people saying this is we're going to be hit the worst economically, and it's like the markets haven't been this bad. Well, what do you expect them to be? No one's working. So please don't give us the statistics of how terrible everything is, because it's hardly encouraging and it's obvious. If no one's going to work, then the economy isn't going to grow, is it, genius media? So I want to stay informed. Usually the things you want to discover or you need to be informed about, you discover anyway, but I like being informed. So I've downloaded the Sky News, maybe they're better. But I really think that 2020 is this amazing transformative time when dark things come to light. I remember I made a video on Jupiter, the lucky planet. Yeah, Jupiter in Capricorn and Pluto. It's really a time where dark things are being worked through. I don't think they should just work through the current restraints and the current institutions that no longer work. The media is one of those institutions that should be looked at, because they're there to inform, not to terrify. If you're sitting there and you're terrified by the news and you think that's normal, it's not normal. If you live in an atmosphere of fear, then you manifest more fear. Whatever is on your lips is not on your hips. It's in your real life. And that's why we have to watch the way you speak. Watch the way I speak. Yeah. I am at ease, full of joy, full of happiness. And that does work. It does work. We have to do these things to overcome those inner shadows. And on Saturday, we have this build up now to the eclipse, which happens on Sunday. But also, you're in a heightened state from the day before, from Friday, where you experience a huge life-changing healing. So you're still reeling from that. On Saturday now, with the Cancer moon, with you being so sensitive, you can block the blocks that are inside internally, the things that make you feel like you're hitting a wall. You're able to release those negative cords that you've got with other people that keep you upset or demotivated. Those can be cut and healed. You can let go of resentments. I've got meditations on my website, letting go of resentments, meditation for abundance, things you can do to get yourself into that vibration and to maintain that vibration. That's what does it. You know, if you do positive affirmations 10 minutes a day, love finds me easily, love finds me easily. But then you sit in the car and you're like, screw you, and then you're pulling your hair and it's like, no one loves me. Then if that's the general gist of the day, you know, your behavior in the car, then you're going to manifest negative things, not the 10 minutes in the morning. Although even 10 minutes can make a huge difference. It's really biased in our favor. So doing 10 minutes of positive affirmations is almost like doing hours of it. By speaking deliberately, you get more than you actually ought to. So you're really able to let go of these blocks that hold you back. On Saturday, it's a crystal healing day. It's an amazing opportunity to let go of things that are really serious and that go on with you internally, in the sense of, I am blocked, I'm not connected to this, or I am connected in a negative way to this other person, or I can't stop feeling and regurgitating my feelings. You're able to put a stop to that. So anyone who's into crystal healing, or you have these kind of issues, it's your day to really thrive. Finally, on Sunday, the 21st of June, first of all, happy summertime. It's the summer solstice, so it's the longest day of the year. Hooray! If you're in the northern hemisphere. If you're in the southern hemisphere, it's the shortest day of the year. The moon moves into Cancer to join this sun in Cancer to form the eclipse. And the eclipse itself happens at 6:41 in the morning, and that's based on UK time. So, because it's in eclipse, first of all, the sun and the moon in a new moon, they sit together. And the moon is completely pitch black, and it turns its face away from us and it recharges. It gets energy from the sun to help it through its next cycle. for the next month. When it's interrupted by an eclipse, like it is here, the effects don't just last during the new moon, they last for 6 months. And it happens during the longest day of the year. And with the moon in Cancer, it's about having fun, enjoying yourself, and healing the self. I'm going to go into more detail. I'll make a separate video on the new moon in Cancer, the eclipse, and I'll just look at what the whole chart is doing to see how the other planets kind of chip into this and affect the eclipse. Because 6 months is a good chunk of time. It's a really positive eclipse. I mean, I personally can do with more love, more self-love, more joy, more energy. I think all of us can, really. And it's a wonderful new start in a time where I think all of us have come out of this with a couple of scrapes. And Cancer is the perfect energy because it's that familial love and nurture and rockabye baby, you know? And if you can do that for yourself, you've already won the battle. Because as long as you're manifesting and working with yourself to create positive circumstances, can't go wrong. So that's what I get for you here for the coming week. I hope you have a lovely time. If you would like a personal reading with me, then please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. I use your birth chart, so I need your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth to analyze your chart. I also look at the transits, the progress chart, astrocartography. I can answer any questions you've got. I use the tarot and numerology as well as my intuition as I read your chart and as I go through the reading. I can answer any questions you have about life purpose or work or love life, compatibility, where to live, when to move, finances, what area to go in, when things are looking a certain way, when things look positive, when you can expect change. Any questions like that, just get in touch via the website gregoryscott.com. Have a lovely time here this week. I'm just trying to think if I forgot anything. No, that's it. Yeah, I'm gonna do the video on the eclipse now for more info. And if you have any questions, just get in touch with me. It would be lovely to speak to you and to read your chart. So I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll speak to you soon.